The day before the election, or at the eve of the general election, our short-term observers had all reached the various deployment locations, identified polling stations, and engaged with polling officials and other stakeholders in order to ascertain the level of preparedness. A more notable disruption recorded concerning preparations on 8 August was the IEBC's announcement of 2 gubernatorial elections in Mombasa and Kakamega due to the errors of ballots. The statement by the IEBC on the cancellation caused anxiety and uncertainty pertaining to electoral processes in these 2 counties. Regarding Election Day observations, most of the polling stations where IGAD STOs were able to observe opening procedures across the 10 counties opened on time. Secrecy of the ballot was adhered to in most polling stations observed by the IGAD STOs. However, there were some instances when the positioning of the booth could have compromised the secrecy of the ballot and the electors. Regarding voter turnout, in most of the polling stations visited, voter turnout was noticeably low and recorded at around 55%. On polling stations and election day materials, the IGAD Election Observation Mission notes that in all polling stations visited, requisite polling materials were available throughout the day. In some polling stations, the observers noted that limited number of polling booths slowed down the voting processes and procedures. All polling stations were, with few exceptions, observed were accessible to all voters, including persons with disabilities, and special consideration was also given to the elderly, lactating mothers, and pregnant women. On the polling staff, independent observers, and party agents. The short-term observation missions of IGAD observed that in most polling stations visited, polling officials performed their duties diligently in accordance with the laws and electoral regulations of Kenya. There was also a commendable level of representation of women as IEBC officials in most polling stations visited. Most of these are within the youth category, which signifies youth participation in election management. The representation of women among party agents and domestic observers was significantly high and noticeable, and that is very much commendable. The IGAD EOM observers noted the presence of domestic and international observers in most polling stations visited. On security around polling stations, the presence of security officials around the polling stations provided a secure environment for the elections to be conducted in an orderly and peaceful manner. The women security officers were also visibly present in all polling stations visited. there were no causes of harassment and intimidation